Okay, so I'm going to assume that you can hear me, and let's proceed. Right. So, welcome everybody who's on the live Q&A session on YouTube today. Welcome also to the people that will be listening. To this on the podcast that'll come out tomorrow evening at 7:00. And welcome to both of these groups. And also in the future. So either on the YouTube video, which is being recorded, and also in the future for the podcast. So thanks everybody for being here. Now a little bit of administrative stuff. You may have noticed a change in the audio. I got some feedback from a couple of people last time about only having, I think it was the right channel, not the left channel, something like that. So at the moment, the volume should be twice as much. If it needs to be a little higher, someone should give a shout out. I know people were having their volume turned all the way up and it was still barely hearable and only on one channel. So that's been fixed. I believe. And if it needs to be turned up more, just let me know. What else? Improvement in volume. Now, today we have something of an exciting, or at least people are very interested in talking about the coronavirus and how it might affect casinos. So I wanted to work through some of my thoughts on that. I should start with a disclaimer. All of those degrees on the wall behind me, none of them are a medical degree. So I will be hesitant about talking about the value of face masks or not, washing your hands. There's no real question about that. But some other things having to do with the medical cases and some of the things that we know and don't know. Remember, this is a live show on March 7th, 2020, and it will be available on YouTube forever. I just, on this date, I just went to CNN. Headline is U.S. coronavirus cases in the U.S. rises to 377. So, hey, Lady Di, welcome. She has to go, so I wanted to say hello to her now. In a few minutes, I'll check the chat. As usual, a lot of you are often here, but why don't you just tell us which state you're in, because of the breadth and depth of the people who are here. Please share the state that you're in. But I'll continue with this introduction, which is that coronavirus is at, I think I said 344 cases, 377 cases today, according to CNN, confirmed cases, and we are at the beginning of something. Now, as slots players, we go to casinos, right? And it would help if you were to like this video. It would help us sort of YouTube as a way of sort of spreading the news that we're live. And if we kind of like it at the beginning of the video, it will spread during the video, so we'll get more people on the live. Thank you. And while you're at it, if you want to subscribe, that would be awesome too. So I wanted to say that at the beginning of the video. Now, on the coronavirus, we have some small idea what might happen with casinos. Someone, I think it was, I don't remember his name, sorry. If you're here, speak up. But last night, someone shared to me an article on the Wall Street Journal, and I'll put that article, or at least a link to it, it'll be in the description. For those of you that are live, it will be, I just put it into the chat, and for the people on the podcast later, I'll put it in the description. And so there's a Wall Street Journal, article. It is called Coronavirus Has Started an Unlucky Streak for Casinos. You can't really, unless you have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, they don't let you have too much access to the article, but the first couple of paragraphs are available to, I guess, everybody. And this is really an article about Macau. And so we might get a hint of what the U.S. might see. It's pretty dramatic. We don't know a lot about the coronavirus. We don't know how many people are going to be affected, how many people are going to be killed. We don't know, quite a lot. And we also don't know how long it's going to be around, but suggestions are a while. Again, I don't have a medical degree. But in Macau, which for the month of February, last month, they had the casinos had gambling revenue for the month. That was for February 2020, which was 88% less than February the year before. 88% less revenue. It fell that much. So 12%. And that's a lot. Why was it so low? Because they shut, in this Macau town, city with many, many casinos in China, shut down their casinos for 15 days to help contain the spread of the coronavirus. So, what I wanted to talk about with American casinos is, what is the possibilities? What if it's mild? What if it's extreme? What might happen under either circumstance? So we'll get into a moment. In a moment. For now, I want to come back to the chat quickly and say hello. Let's see. Dave and Lois wishing me a good show. That's great. Jan has her friend from Marianne, or sister, sorry, from Marianne, is visiting from Michigan. Her favorite casino there is Turtle Creek. I have not been to Turtle Creek, Michigan, but I am from Michigan, from the Flint area. I would show you on my map, which is a Michigan joke. Maggie is here. Hello, Maggie. Denise, the always wonderful Denise. Lives in Texas, but plays in Oklahoma, as many people do. Jingwalk, which I think is Chris. Good afternoon to you, too. Thanks, Lois and Dave, for making sure I have good audio and visual. Steve, all good. Chuck, thank you for the confirmation. Dean, TX Tootsie. Lady Di Slots is another YouTuber with a Slots channel. Thank you for stopping by. Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Steve, Wisconsin. So, Catherine, when you say hi, do you mean Hawaii? Just kidding. Maggie, New Jersey. Catherine, Oregon. Thank you. So, let's see. It's... did I enter this? I think I entered this. No. Okay. Right. So Maggie was saying that, we can talk about that. Let's see. I missed Maggie, New Jersey, Catherine, Oregon, Lady Di Slots. She went yesterday to a casino and it was dead at Tampa Hard Rock. Exclamation point. So, I'll get into my thoughts on this, and we'll talk about the rapid changes that are taking place and how we might keep up. But let me finish this. Yes, Jingwalk, Chris, Dean, Nevada. Hello, Dean. Somebody won another taxable jackpot at the. 1.2 million at the Venetian. Did you hear about that? I know you have an interest in that. Good morning, Max from sunny Southern California. I will have you know that it is bright and sunny. You could see the reflections in the glass behind me and my glasses now. It's bright and sunny here in southwestern Ohio too. And we're glad to have you here. Glad you can make it. Okay, so I think we're caught up on chat. So there's a lot happening quickly with coronavirus. It's spread, the number of cases, the things going on with getting ready and not ready and whatever. My point that I want to make here is things are moving quickly. Where are they moving? We don't really know, but things are moving quickly. There's fear, there's facts, there's various things. So I wanted to talk to you about casinos. And I wanted to talk to you about how quickly things are moving. So one of the suggestions I'm going to make, and I'll put this into the chat now, is how do we keep up? As Lady Di Slots had said yesterday, she went to a casino. Oh, I'm over. That's why I didn't go in. Let's see. I had tried to chat something that was too long. That's why it was failing. All right, so I'm going to put this Wall Street Journal article, and that should, okay, now it's out. My Riviera, I'll talk about some of that. It's kind of just some thoughts I wanted to share. Now, as things happen, first thing I want to share with you is how do you keep up? Well, the best way I know of, the next time we meet will be a week from today, and a lot can happen in a week. Also, this is all very kind of like Seattle is being impacted. CNN says today that, what exactly do they say? Besides the 377 cases, that the New York governor declared a state of emergency. That was about an hour and a half ago. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying this is fast moving, and we have kind of short on facts. And so I want to offer this link that I just shared to all of my Facebook state-by-state private Facebook groups where you can, thanks, Larry, you can go to these Facebook groups. There are a bunch of private Facebook groups. Each one is for a state, territory, or a federal district. And if you want to share what you're seeing for your state, we can keep up this week and next week and the week after instead of waiting a week. Certainly, I think this is going to be important to keep up on. Certainly, I will have some portion of each Saturday's live Q&A on what we know next week and the week after and the week after. But in the meantime, there's just a lot of information. Go to professorslots.com/online-resource, online-resource. And a little bit down on that page, you'll find the links to every Facebook group for each state. If you care to remember it, it's Professor Slots of the Facebook pages. Each one is professorslots.com/FB for Facebook, and then the two-letter designation for that state. So professorslots.com/FBMI would be the Facebook group slots community for Michigan. And if you go there and let us know if your casinos are closed, if they're open, what kind of things they might be doing, the finances, whether you're winning, whether it's dead. And as you know, it's whether it's going to be open or not, whether it's going to be a lot of people or not, it is all going to be very state by state dependent. As it's kind of sweeps across the nation. So that would be the best place for us to keep up. Don't make a long story short, or make a short story long. Let's try to keep up with what's going on. We'll talk again next Saturday about a week from today about kind of where things at least for a few minutes, and see where we're at. But for now, stay in contact with one another, and I think the best way that I can offer is the Facebook groups, which already have quite a few members and are already talking about this. But I would suggest going there to sort of have updates. People will share, and that's the idea. Okay, so let's talk through several scenarios. Okay, let's. I think I think we cannot assume nothing will happen. I think we can assume that it won't be business as usual. So I will exclude that. Let's say the next scenario would be it's minor. Well, minor but noticeable. Okay. What if the casino doesn't get the usual number of people? That it's reduced by 20%, some minimum number, but just noticeable. What will the casino do? What will you do in response to what the casino might do under that circumstance? And we'll progress to more and more difficult scenarios, but this is the one I think that is the least damaging to everybody. But it is going to be something different than business as usual. So let's talk about that. We know what casinos will do if they have a little bit of a slowdown in people coming into the casino. We know this, right? This is your typical, what? January? No. Yeah. It's kind of like January, after the New Year's. Not a lot of people are going. It's after the holidays. It's before spring break. Before people get out of school in April. So it's maybe January, February is kind of like the deadest time, and the casinos know this in advance. And so, what do they do when people don't come in as much? They have promotions. They give you reasons to come in. They try to find something exciting to pull you out into the cold and get you to the casino when not as many people go as they do at other times of the year. So if coronavirus scenario where it's not too severe but just a little bit noticeable, I think we can maybe take some advantage of the casino. Do protect yourself. I'm not a medical person. I'm not going to repeat what I have heard. You can research all this yourself. You know your own medical condition. Hopefully, they were saying something about if you're old, whatever that means. But they said they meant 80, not mid-50s like me. Apparently, that's young. Great to hear that. So there's the at-risk people. And please make your own decision about how you want to handle this. But there might be an opportunity at the casino if everything is kind of mild. I can see winning possibilities there where the casino is doing whatever they can to get people to come in. Now let's move to the next scenario because I want to get through several of these. Let's say that it's 50% reduction. Rick comments that they will tighten up their machines to make up for a lack of cash flow. I don't know. See, if you do that, you have the consequence of people not coming in. So it's kind of like a seesaw, right? We saw that with Oklahoma. Oklahoma in the last week or so has been improving their payouts. Why? Because people got disgusted with January and just everything being so tight. So now they have the consequence of they got to woo players back in. So we have this recent example for tribal casinos in Oklahoma. Believe me, every casino in the country is watching that situation so they can understand it, particularly the tribal casinos. I think you asked earlier about tribal casinos. If you tighten it up during an emergency, you are creating a long-term problem. And if it's not much of an effect, scenario one where it's not much reduction, sometimes you just power into the curve. Sometimes you say, okay, we'll get them in even though they're reluctant. That can happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it's probably going to be one or the other. Business as usual is not going to happen. They're either going to tighten it, which I think is a mistake, but casinos make mistakes, or they're going to loosen it and hope for the best. That's scenario one, where it's not quite business as usual, but they've got some choices. Now let's tighten it up. Let's say that they have. It's not the worst situation. Let's say it's a 50% reduction of number of people coming in. that's heading towards difficult, right? And at that point, what are their chances of being able to loosen the machines and getting people to come in when it's 50% reduction in traffic? It's going to be harder to get people to come in when it's that bad, whatever causes that feeling, whether, news reports or whatever. If whatever causes a 50% reduction, more deaths, more spread, whatever causes that, I don't know that it's going to be possible for the casinos to do anything at all to get people to come in. They might do everything they can and get their number pushed up to 55% of the traffic. They might just say, well, we want that additional 5% of traffic because it's already pretty bad for them. Or they might just say, well, give up. I'm just trying to imagine how casinos might respond. And given that it's nationwide, they're going to do both. Some casinos here will do one. Some casinos there will, do the other. Some will tighten up and then realize afterwards they've got a big problem now they have to fix. Some will loosen it up and be successful, but then less people will come in and they'll eventually fail, because I think that's kind of what I'm imagining, I should say. But that's the next scenario, 50% reduction in traffic. Now let's go full on, although there might be some other scenario, but let's just go to the limit. Shut down. Casino closes. Yeah. Let's say the casinos close for 15 days out of the month to try to restrict the sharing of the coronavirus. One thing I didn't mention towards the beginning that I wanted to share is this is not a mall. Casinos are not a mall. I mean, yeah, they have stores and there's restaurants, and they're not a restaurant. Okay, you are touching a slot machine people have coughed on. It might have been an hour before, but you are touching where other people have touched recently, and a lot of them. You're at times, it may not be during this emergency, at times, casinos are downright crowded. All right. Some of the restrictions I saw from cities in China was everybody has to walk down the street with at least 1 meter, 3 feet away from any other person all the way around. Don't get any closer than that. That's not going to happen at a casino unless, normally. And slot machines aren't that far apart. If somebody's sitting next to you, then they're within that area. So. Yeah, this could all be. So I want to mention that. That's one of the restrictions that have been used in other countries, and we might find ourselves doing here. But let's say we go right to the total extreme. Let's say the casinos close. All right. It takes a lot of money to keep the lights on. The lights will be on. The machines will be turned on. Even if they're not, just the air conditioning is just astronomical, the cost. All those lights being on as well. It's this electric bill is huge for casinos. I don't know if you know that, but they're keeping one of the Atlantic City sites kind of warm, I think it was. I'd heard maybe about a year and a half ago, and just using the air conditioning, it was closed, but they wanted to keep the air conditioning going. Maybe it was Las Vegas, it would get too hot and it might damage the structure if you got too much humidity inside or heat inside, and things could overheat and you had a problem with the wiring and various things. In any case, you do have to keep things powered up at least a little, and it could be millions of dollars in heating bills. Yeah, you may remember I'd mentioned as we grow, we're going to be getting some interesting people, and I just hit a comment. Okay, so more and more then as time goes by. Okay, so when we have this complete shutdown, the casino has zero revenue, but lots and lots of costs. And, if you have, I don't know, MGM, right, who has to close their casino in Detroit, for a few days because maybe that becomes a center of coronavirus, right? I think MGM, I'm sure MGM can absorb that, and that's a pretty big. That's a pretty big cost, but I think they can absorb it. But if you're a tribe, and you have one casino in Michigan, what's going to happen? Will they be able to withstand 2 weeks of not being open? The costs involved, and all right. I'm going to have to figure out how to kick people off of the chat. In any case, sorry to be distracted by obscenities. Right. So you have these smaller casinos that are going to be hit the first by not having very many people, by potentially closing, and depending on how bad we get, or how long any sort of closings might happen. We don't know that's going to happen. We could end up with a lot of difficulty. The casino's going to end up with a lot of difficulty where, they're not open anymore. I apologize for having to do this. Okay, learning additional features. So we have a range of things that could happen. We should keep track of what's going on. It's going to be a state-by-state wide situation. Please be aware that some casinos might have a hard time weathering through this. It might not be a matter of figuring out if there's an advantage for slot players. I think that exists when there's only a few things that can be accomplished. When there's only a few things they can do that would try to woo people back in. As it becomes more severe, the situations at various casinos in various states, depending on how coronavirus plays out, it is going to become more and more difficult to find a advantage play. And So I think we should just keep up with one another. The service I have available is free, private, Slots Community on Facebook. I told you how to find those. I made a convenient link that take you directly to Facebook, professorslots.com/FB, and then the 2-letter state designation, and sign up for any state that you're interested in, and I'll you have to request to join, and I'll approve the request in most cases. So that's kind of what I had in mind for coronavirus. I'm going to check through to see if there's questions from a few people. Hi, Larry. Yep. Rick. Yeah, they could tighten up the casino machines, but I think that's like a stopgap. I don't think it's the right decision because, you have consequences as we've seen in Oklahoma. And then Catherine says she won almost every day at Wendover in February. So it report to your fellow slots players how things are going, whether they tighten, whether they loosen. And, what we want to keep in mind is, from what I have read and heard, one general thing about coronavirus is it's here to stay. Our response this year, being prepared, whatever response that we might have, getting the healthcare system to the point of being able to handle this, the unknowns involved, a lot of that, hopefully all of it, will be gone next year. Next year we will know what to expect, more or less. So yeah, that's great. But this year, let's make the most of tracking what's happening, because it could prove quite useful next year. What casinos raise their the next time it comes through, assuming it has a season, what does your casino do? Is it bad? Do they tighten or do they loosen? If you can figure that out this year, then you will know for next year because coronavirus is here to stay. Let's see, Max. Okay. Max. Max says that he lost every day in February after Catherine said she won every day in Wendover, Nevada, on the border to Utah. So Catherine won, Max lost. These could have been early responses. I did some reading today, and some reporters were suggesting that Seattle is kind of a epicenter, although with what's going on in New York City, they're declaring a state of emergency. Not quite sure how this is all going to come out. Let's see. Max, February was horrible. Only saw one handbay in 3 different casinos. Yeah. So it's quite possible that is what your casino is going to do. But again, don't go to the casino if you don't want to go to the casino. If somebody wants to go for you or somebody else is going and you're not, ask them, what does it look like? Because again, what we learned this year, yet while staying safe, what we learned this year will tell us a lot about what to expect from each casino next year, how they respond. Now, they may change their mind having made a mistake this year, but at least this is a clue. The advantage play, and I don't mean to be mercenary about how to make money due to a national emergency. Well, it's not yet a national emergency. Different states have started a state of emergency. But for this national event, learn what your casino does in response, because there may not be a winning slots advantage this year, but you could learn something this year that would help you next year. All right. We have some questions, I think. Let's see. Questions from TJ, Washington High. Come to Illinois. Lots of gambling, fun times, good people. Thanks. I never quite know what to say when people say Mr. Friedel. I appreciate being Mr. Friedel, but if you would look up at the top center degree, it's Doctor. Terry, yes. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that the volume is better. Terry, my coworker Terry, was the one that pointed out that at max volume on his computer, I was barely able to hear. He was barely able to hear me. So have a good appointment and take care of yourself. And I hope things sounded better for you. And just teasing TJ about that Mr. thing. Please call me John. TX Tuxie, Texas Tootsie. We're going to spend the night at Delta Downs in Louisiana Wednesday. Great. People in Texas will go to Louisiana. I appreciate that you are, I believe, are a member of the Texas Facebook slots community and the Louisiana Facebook slots community. But if you want to tell us in the Texas slots community, there are people that will go to Louisiana who live in Texas. So share a lot. Seems like it might be appropriate. So yes, Jan has said she will post what's going on at her casino. Please, everybody, consider that. Some of you are already members. Chris says you had a 2,520 jackpot 4 weeks ago, but it's been bad since. Yeah. We need to learn how casinos are going to respond. I will hope for every casino's survival. They may not have the money to do some expansions that they currently are based on this. I mean, we're going to have some long-term consequences. I mean, long-term, like a year. If they are closed, and if they close, if unfortunately any of them close, then that's a problem. They're gone. And we might have liked them, but we'll see how this all plays out. Again, we don't know how bad it might get for the casinos. But if they are able to stay open, any plans they have to expand to, either the structures, the facilities. They may have to let some people go, instead of closing. We might see repercussions for this for a year. It might put their long-term plans back a little bit. There's some intermediate between, just having a little bit of lower income, lower revenue, and closing. There's area in between. I'm going to ask people again who might have joined since I last asked, if you would like this, we can still have the YouTube algorithm. If you like this video, we can still draw people in, and the YouTube will spread it around. I've usually asked, I will call you Jan, Texas Tootsie. Hopefully everybody else knows that you're Jan. Right, stay focused. Sharing, that's one of the messages I want to put out there. Let's see. Steve says, my wife and I are getting emails on comps. There's a good point. Are your comps increasing? I gambled in Kentucky at Red Mile. Cover my number. Red Mile, which the HHR machines, the historic horse racing machines in Kentucky. And I've been getting all kinds of promotions, as well as my trip in January, end of January, to nearby to Miami Valley Gaming. And I've just been inundated. It's like every day, if not like 5 times a week, I will get a promotion from both of those places. But I only recently went back after a year to Miami Valley, and I had never been to Red Mile before. I don't know if that was happening before January, before coronavirus sort of reared its ugly head. I don't know if it's an unusual number of promotions. That's something I think if you've been going to a casino for a while and you want to know how things are going, take a look at your promotions. See if the values are higher. See if you're getting more of them, because this is the beginning. The first thing they're going to do is try to woo people back in because the numbers have gone down. But in another month, will we still be on that scenario, or will we be on one of the others, the more severe stuff? So I think you don't even have to go to the casino. You can see if your promotions dry up or increase in frequency and perhaps amount. See, that's a good indicator. Thank you for pointing that out, Steve. Much appreciated. Let's see, Catherine, going to Wendover. I think Wendover, April 3rd. We'll pay attention. Thank you. And share. Max says California declared state of emergency also. That is because it will get us federal money. Of course. Yeah. Dayton, Ohio was struck by a tornado. And I'm barely inside of Montgomery, and I heard the devastation from it. There's still buildings that are just all torn up, arenas and stuff. And we got federal assistance. And I was surprised at how far and wide it helped with, helped. I think the one thing that helped me, because I was in a county that was listed as part of the national disaster, was I had a deferment on 2 months of my student loans. I bought a better mic. Okay, Catherine, getting many, many offers from Reno. But were you getting many, many offers previously from Reno, or do you think they've jumped, by 2x? Or, interested in knowing do you always get that many? I wouldn't be surprised if you always got that many. Denise, I am a nurse and making a suggestion if you go to casino. Take some pocket-sized hand wipes and wipe the buttons down before you play on each machine. I have a personal Facebook page, which is for family and people I graduated high school with. I haven't added anybody in years to that, but I share with them something that I heard on a cruise when I wanted to go into the buffet. A gentleman stood there with a little squeegee, the little squirt bottle, and he would say, "Washy, washy." It was cute. And so absolutely wash our hands, wipe down the counters. Now, one of the things I think we will totally expect, and I would like to hear from people if they think this is true. Purell and other antibiotics previously were mostly in the restrooms, but they have these wall dispensers sometimes, maybe, certainly other places, but not necessarily casinos. I would think that helping the casinos want to help people be healthy. I have to imagine they're going to have those packets, buckets of those packets all over the place. It could be a little unsightly, so I have to wonder how exactly casinos are going to make those available. The thing they might do, I think I would be pleased to see this, would be to have a dispenser at every slot machine. It would show that they care. Every slot machine, and besides which the slot attendants and beverage people would have them available and handing them out all over the place. You do too much of that and you make people feel unsafe. On the other hand, I personally think that would be great. So, let us know what you see. But thank you, Denise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wash our hands. Yeah. Let's see. Pocket-sized hand wipes. Yes. TJ. Okay. Not sure what you're sorry about. Didn't notice. Let's see. Mark Smith. Can you go over what a VLT? Let's talk about something other than coronavirus. VLT, video lottery terminal. A video lottery terminal is, in most states, there's only one state that does it a little bit differently. It is a video slot machine. First off, video, right? That's the first word. A lottery. The lottery means it's just like what you might think. Your state has a state lottery. And so it is a video slot machine that is connected to the state lottery. You know how if you go to a convenience store and you can buy a lottery ticket? Well, they don't have lottery tickets at the convenience store. They have a terminal that is connected to the state lottery. All right? It's all internet connected. So when you request 5 lottery tickets, they ping the central server, the statewide server at the lottery system, and that system calculates the numbers if you want them random, and then it provides them as needed. That's the slot machine. I mean, that's random numbers from the lottery system, in the state lottery system, to the slot machine in the casino, because it goes over the internet, gets it, pulls it each time you push the button. So it's like a convenience store video lottery, convenience store lottery terminal, only it's got spinning wheels and it's got the video. And so simple as that. Video lottery terminal. Are they controlled by the central computer like a scratch-off, or are they individual machines? Only one state. These are Okay. So the difference between a video lottery terminal that's based on scratch tickets and a video lottery terminal that's based on the draw ticket, where they have a drawing, is that only one state, I think it's Washington or Oregon. I think it's Oregon, maybe. They have, sorry. Right. Staying on task here. Read my article for your state, professorslots.com/ Michigan would be MI. I talk about it there. I also have some description. I talk about whether or not they are controlled by the casino or controlled by a video lottery system. One state has 2 video lottery systems. The second one is a tribal lottery system for the tribal casinos, which have video lottery terminals. If you play a video slot machine, you don't know if it's a video slot machine or a video lottery terminal. I've never been able to look at one of those machines and say, which one is it? But if you go to the state gaming board, they will say which one is it, and also the rules that go with payout and other things. So I've written all that down. in the articles for each state. So that's where you look. You can. I also provide the link so you can go check your state and see if anything has changed. Let's see, VLTs. I think I covered that. Okay. My Riviera went twice in February and lost. Sister has gone twice this week and won. Same casino. Okay. Okay, particularly Delaware Park. Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head. I write all these things down. Let's see. Steve, I will update. I'm going tonight to the casino. Okay, thank you, Steve, for updating what's going to happen at your casino tonight. Jan, thank you for the big, huge smile. Catherine, Grand Sierra Resort especially has had many, many more offers. Peppermill, no change. Atlantis, a little more. Okay, that's, I think, your biggest clue. You don't have to try to guess from the website. For instance, I mean, if the casino starts closing, instead of making the drive up there, check the website. Check their website and see if they state, we unfortunately have to close, or whether they might not say that they're open, but they probably will say if they've closed. Also, you can get an idea of how hard they're trying. Like I said, my best guess is that if they have some reduction, they're going to try to pull people in. At some point, they might say, or give up. Just have a hard time imagining that, but and just sort of like go into survival mode. So check your promotions and see if they're up or down. That will give you a clue how it's going at your casino without having to visit. Yeah, and let's see. It's Washington that is unique. Yes, Oregon is Class 3, but run by the state. Right. Both of these are a little bit subtle. Thank you, Kat, for reminding me of that. I may have said something, a lot of detail. I do try to keep track, but mostly I write it down for you guys and then check myself on the latest details. You see one article on, say, Washington slots, but I remember the previous two articles, and slowly over time, some of the state laws changed. So I have to remember what currently is being done. One of the things I had mentioned earlier about Nevada was that it was weekly gaming statistics, and I was kind of half right. Casinos have to meet the gaming requirements on a weekly basis, but the Gaming Commission reports monthly. So both of those are important, and that's kind of the subtleties you look at. The monthly reports, are not an average over the month or an average over each week. And each week has got its own average, and then you have an average of that, which is put in the monthly reports. Anyway, if you like statistics, and that's just goodness. Right. Thank you again, Kat. So was there anything else I wanted to share about the coronavirus? Anticipate for next year. We need to understand how casinos handle this year. We'll hope for the survival of the casinos. Watch your promotions. Wash your hands. Take wipes. Report back, so we can keep track. It's very much, if there are any winning strategies that we can take advantage of now, it's going to be hit or miss. It's going to be, this week is different from next week, which is different from next week. And if you are, I don't mean to give my opinion, medical or otherwise, medical. I'm happy to give my opinion on slots. If you decide that you will go to the casino, let us know. We would all be interested, state by state. You can even go to Professor Slots Enthusiasts, my slots community for like the nation or the world, and share there, or the state by state ones. But let us know. This is an evolving situation. Again, people are going to be listening to this. It's going to be on YouTube forever, until I take it down 10 years from now or whatever. So I'm not trying to talk about exactly how many cases there are today, because next week it'll be more, and it'll be, I don't want this to be anything other than helpful for a long time. People are going to be reviewing this in a year, to see what the suggestions were from the first year and go, oh, that's right. That's how my casino reacted. Maybe they'll do that again this year. Last time I didn't take full advantage. This time I will. Yeah. So let's try to document this a little bit, and we will see how things progress. Just remember, China closed down casinos for 15 days in Macau with an 88% reduction. That means that if they made 100 million, then they only made 12 million because they dropped it 88%. Huge drop for February, and that's because they were closed half the month. Right. What else do we want to talk about? Do you have any other questions? I've probably talked more on this Q&A session than I have in the past. I know I wanted to do more of that instead of just jumping from chat to chat to chat. If you have something you want to ask, I'm here for you. I should report back. I will report back that the consultations are up. Much appreciated. I'm trying to answer people's questions. If they read my book, they read my articles, and they still have questions because they have a special circumstance with, something going on in one particular state, one particular casino, and they want to ask me, what about this, what about this, what about this? I'm finding some success, or rather people who are having consultations are finding some success on answering those things, those details for their circumstances. That means that as that continues to improve, there's still time available every week. And when it gets full, the price will go up. Also, I added one of the people that I provided a consultation for said, I don't know how to quite feel about this. I'm trying to earn my way through my business, not asking for donations or anything like that. I might do a little something where if you do a monthly subscription, then you automatically get this in return, and maybe that's something I want to set up before the end of this year. Those who know Patreon, that's what I basically want to do. But one of the people that I consulted, and this has come up in the past, was, hey, if I win $10,000, I'd like to give you $1,000 tip. And I'm like, how would you do that? So I created a donate button under my shop page in $100 increments. I might change it to 50, where if you really feel the need to give me a tip, why should I stand in your way? So if you find yourself making a lot of money based on some of my ideas, if you want to provide a tip, I now have a way where you can do that. Not asking for it. I'm just trying to meet people's needs. Okay, a couple of questions here. Let's get to them. Catherine Ranciers. Yep. Okay. Yep. Denise. Steve says, one of my casinos gets like 6 or 8 new machines like every other week. Sure. And then change them out. What's up with this? Is it because the manufacturer are trying to promote them? Absolutely. But there's several things going on here. One of the things that the slot manufacturers try to do and the casinos support is the latest and greatest slot machine. There are players who like to play the same machine because they learn it and they played it for 10 years or 5 years and they don't like change, and there's plenty of people like that. Great. There's also people who are like, well, I want to try something new. And so the slot manufacturers work very hard on having player appeal, meeting the needs of players to try new stuff. Now, I think it's International Gaming Technology, or it's the other one, Scientific Games. Their annual financial report comes out on March 8th, which is tomorrow. And I always write an article every year for those two slot manufacturers who make casino operating systems and some other things, and you can get very clear descriptions of what they're trying to do with their business so we can learn to take advantage of them. One of them comes out tomorrow, and I will update that article as soon as I get through that. I have some trips coming up and some other things for my day job. Yes, absolutely. New ones come out. Sometimes it's new features. Sometimes it's just helping players who are just like, well, I've seen that one. I played that one. Give me a new one. And that's kind of fun because if you look at the state gaming statistics, if you have payout returns, theoretical payout returns, they will say by wager or by lifetime of the machine, that requirement has to be set. That requirement is set for the lifetime of the machine. And if you've got a slot machine in the back that's been there 5 years, that's really easy to do. But if it's only going to be there a week, then you have to say it can't drop too low, because if it's gone in a week, then they have to meet the state gaming requirements. And if so you can look at some of that and say, some states you want to, if you look at your state, some states you want to play those, and other states, if it's per wager, then they'll never go over 100%, and you don't want to play those. So there is an opportunity with those. I haven't quite written it up other than saying, this state kind of has gaming regulations that would suggest that those need to be winners, and others that suggest they don't have to be winners. And that can matter if you like to play those kinds of machines. Just want to Jan says, just want to shout out about your book, Learning to Win. I just finished it, and it was very helpful. I may have to get a consult soon. Great. You can see it over in my right side over on the desk. Thank you very much for buying that, and enjoy. Let's see, did I skip anything? Right. Mark says, in a game like $5 Wheel of Fortune, one of my favorites, just because I'm so used to it, where you have one shared large prize of, say, $1 million, how do you keep the odds the same for, say, a 15 bet or a $10 bet? The thing you want to watch for that might make the odds different for 5 or 10 or 15, check the pay table for any mention of being able to spin the big wheel only on max bet. All right? There should, whether or not so if a $5 bet is 1 credit, and a $10 bet is 2 credits, and a $15 bet is 3 credits, then a lot of those machines will say you only get to spin if you bet the $15 because you're betting maximum credits. But if you've got 3 slot machines side by side where max bet is $5 on one, max bet is $10 on the next, max bet is $15 on the next, given its max credit and denomination combinations, then as long as you are betting max credits, then you are got the best odds. If there's a bonus round, and you can check to see, sometimes Wheel of Fortune will allow you to have a spin on the wheel, even if it's not maximum credits. So read the pay table and see if it says you only get the spin on maximum on maximum pay lines or maximum credits. Really the same thing. If it says on any credit bet you can spin the wheel, then slot manufacturers work very hard to make it the same odds on each. All right. Let's see what else. Sharon Ford, hello. Right back at you. Live in Alabama, but play slots mostly in Biloxi, Missouri. Great. The coastal region. So you said coastal area, so you understand that is a region for which there are odds set aside at the state gaming board. And while you don't have it casino by casino, you have, I think it's 3, maybe 4 regions in the state. One of them being coastal. I think it's 3. And so I hope that you're taking advantage. I believe Mississippi has, again, it's just my memory, Alabama, I believe there might be by denomination. So you might be able to choose anyway, there's an article on the Wendover article that I have about how to take advantage of state gaming statistics that include slot machine denominations, and you can apply that to any other state that shows denominations. I hope that's all clear to you. It's mentioned in my book, and I have some articles on it. Any questions, just let me know. Hanging with Linda. Hello, Hanging with Linda. I was watching your video earlier today. Everybody, this is Linda. She has a Slots channel, also on YouTube. We've had two celebrities today with us. Awesome. I'm less nervous than I was last time. Jan, can you ask a casino employee where the new machines are? Yes. Or kind of keep track yourself. They won't be able to tell you how long they'll be there because it depends on what happens when people play them. I talk to slot attendants all the time about where's this, where's that, because sometimes I'll find the state gaming requirements say I did this in Harris, North Kansas City. I said, you have four slot machines that have a 98% return, and I'm because and I'd seen that, and they found it for me, showed me where it was, and quarter machines, I think they were. Turned out they were roulette machines, just a circle of four of them, a carousel of four of them, so they'll take you right to it. They're a great resource. Got to be careful. I mentioned this last time. I probably don't want to beat a dead horse, but they will tell you facts. Listen to the facts. They will tell you their opinion. Consider their opinion. Don't take it for fact. You get two different things. Getting close to the end here, Hanging with Linda. You're doing good. I will have to watch this replay for what I missed. Thanks for watching your video. Awesome. I will try to be as gracious. Working on it. Okay, so I wish everybody health through this time. Hi, Carrie. I wish everybody health through this emergency. A lot can happen in a week. I'll be back in a week from now. We'll chat a little bit about the coronavirus then, and I'll have another topic to go over. We'll see how disruptive this gets to be casinos. It may be more of a session on coronavirus than I think. It depends on how it goes. But in the meantime, join one of my Facebook slots communities at Professor Slots. Go there directly. Don't even stop by my website, professorslots.com/FB, and then the 2-letter designation for the state, and report back. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Denise. And T-Roy Slot Student, you're welcome. And Jan, you're welcome as well. Bye, Larry. Have a good day, everybody. Have fun. Be safe. Make good choices. And wash your hands. Bye.